I'd made £11,000 in the first 6 days of the year, and everyone was asking me, how did you do it? Like, how did you do it? How did you do it? And I was like, okay.
I love the hustle, man.
Valery, six-figure agency owner and a digital nomad.
She breaks down on how to successfully freelance or run an agency.
A lot of people will tell you, you need to be doing that high ticket offer. It needs to be £10,000. Every single person that you'll see on YouTube right now, they're lying to you and they're wrong because, I don't like them. I don't like them. And Bali is full of them.
How is it you build your offer and then actually close the client?
I love to listen. Majority of my sales scripts, especially when I used to give it to my students or whatever, it would just be listen to what the person's doing. Ask as many questions as you need to. Psychology. I created a whole sales script from, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And I feel like I want to share my sales script with people. Can I just give a little link? It's free. I saw the most beautiful parts of Thailand. And then the second time round, we ended up going after my birthday. It's so shocking what happens there. There is these things known as sex shows where people, don't want to get too graphic, but
Welcome to another episode of the CEO of You, where we interview entrepreneurs, go-getters, and anyone that ultimately wants to improve their life. And today we have a special guest by the name of Valery, a successful female entrepreneur. And let's just dive straight into the interview. You had an interesting upbringing.
Yeah.
You said you was the only black child in school?
Yeah, so I grew up north, in Grimsby to be specific. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie, but it's very... So growing up, I moved to the UK when I was 5 years old, lived in Luton for a little bit, and my parents were like, okay, let's move up north, it's cheaper, we don't want our kids growing up around just Luton. Yeah, so we moved there, and it was because I was at such a young age where everyone is vulnerable and no one really knows no one knows what racism is. When you're that age, you're not going to get a random little 7-year-old just calling you, the N-word. They don't know it at that age. But I think my brothers definitely had it tougher because they were in that high school stage. And I was the only black kid in school, and it made a massive impact on me, culturally and just with how I looked. I was that one kid who had an afro, and I was straightening my hair every day. I was falling out and I was straightening it, relaxing it, doing the most.
Why was that?
Because it was just I looked so different. I didn't know I should look this way because I didn't have any role models. I didn't have anyone in front of me to be this is how a black girl at that age should look. And there's no hairdressers, no nothing. So, and my mom would be get your hair braided. And I'm no, but remember actually when I was in year 7, one girl would be you've got Medusa hair, you've got snake hair. And that's because I had braids. So it's just when you're hearing those kinds of comments at such a young and vulnerable age and just trying to fit in, it's just okay, let's just try and look like everyone else. Yeah. And this is back when just having the whole black body was just not, it was just ugh. And I remember kids just being oh my God, you've got a big bum. And this all these white kids. And it was just oh, okay, so I shouldn't look like this. Let me just be super skinny, have a thigh gap, have
No
yeah,
way.
just so, yeah.
Did it also come for the lips as well? And
Yeah. And now these same girls are getting lip inject, they're getting the BBLs and lip fillers.
With 0.5 mil and all that.
Yeah. So I feel that whole cultural appropriation a little bit more because, when it's the same people that were but now they're it's just it's different. So yeah, that played a massive part. And then even when I then moved to Milton Keynes, it is so diverse and so cultural. It was also okay, now I'm too white for the black kids because I don't know different. I don't know how to dress like them. So I had friends of all different cultures, but it was still okay, how am I meant to I would say something, I said, I had a northern accent. So I sounded like that. And every time I said something, I'll be I'm going to the bus. And everyone's just why are you talking like that? Patting up, you need to talk properly. And I'm just but this is how I know how to talk. And this is how I know how to just behave and look and do other things.
How old were you then?
So I originally moved when I was 6 years old up north and then moved back when in year 7, that's 12, right?
Yeah.
So
11, 12,
12, that year 8, year 9, that was it. But I think the greatest influence for me was my brother went to uni, Bedfordshire, shout out. So he's 10 years older than me, and he was coming back telling me this is all about his little influences, his music taste and just different things. So I grew up listening to, the good
Taylor
stuff.
Swift.
Well, yeah, I still like, I still listen to Taylor Swift, shout out. But no, I do listen to like, Wu-Tang's for the children. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one in ages.
But yeah, no, I listen to like just pop, like, the rap culture at that point, like everything that people were listening to. But every other identity part of me was a bit of a crisis other than the music part.
Okay.
So how did you actually, because obviously growing up, so how did you actually find your culture and actually be able to understand who you are, where you're from, and where you belong? Thank you for watching the CEO of You podcast. And recently we've had a look at our analytics and we've noticed over 80% of you guys are not subscribed.
So if you could do us a favor, hit the like button, subscribe button, and also comment down below as well.
Thank you, and back to the video.
I think it was a really tough one. I think even up until like a few years ago, it was a tough one because it was almost, I moved to a few different schools, not because of anything, I'm not a bad kid. Like when I moved to Milton Keynes, the school next to my house was completely packed. So I just went there, and then as soon as they had a space, I moved over to a new school. And then so that was like year 10 and 11, moved to a different school for sixth form because I hated everyone. And then and then failed my A-levels and then moved again. So I think it was like a journey of like consistently trying to fit in and just like trying to mold myself to be like the person that everyone can like be friends with. Good experience because I made loads of friends and I just like know how to speak to anyone and just adaptability. But bad in the sense that I just didn't find my identity for so long. And when I was like 17, I was like, I found like Zimbabweans for the first time. I didn't speak, even to them, I didn't speak Shona and I didn't like know how to cook and everything. So even they were like, who are you? Like, why don't you speak Shona? And it's just like, okay, I've been trying to form myself to be all of these different people, like put so many different hats on and be someone for every single friendship group I've ever like met. And then when I got to uni, like second year of uni, that's when I was like, let me stop. I remember sending my friend a massive paragraph, like, I'm not going to listen to this type of music because you want me to listen to this. I'm not going to like do this or go to like this festival because you want me to go to this festival. I'm like my own person. I like listen to my own music. I do my own thing. I think I was like at that breaking point, and that was at 19, where it was just like, this is who I am. Let me figure out who I am. And that's where like therapy also kicked in just the first time. Yeah.
Okay. So when you put your foot down, did you, what path was you taking? Because you was at uni, but you also had like a business.
Yeah, so this is when I first started my swimwear brand. So I started my swimwear brand in second year of uni. And it was like the whole of first year I'd spent it just like partying, doing freshers tours, drunk all the time. I was on a diet of like alcohol, then wake up, maybe like chips from McDonald's, and then more alcohol the next day. It was
that freshers.
Yeah, honestly. And then one day you just realize it was like first semester of first year, and I'd spent like all my money that I'd earned at IKEA over the summer, and I'm like, wait, hold on, I haven't been eating. Like, where's all my money gone? So yeah, that's when I was like, okay, something has to budge. Like, I need to find a way to actually make money now. Yeah.
And you thought swimwear?
Yeah, so it didn't quite happen like that. It was, I think as like my uni years progressed, I was in a relationship, so I was getting a bit more like not going out. So I would save money and actually have a bit of money. And I was like, okay, let me start traveling. And that's when like my cousin passed away. I'll touch on that a bit later. But yeah, when that happened, I was like, okay, I need to start living because life is too short. Like, and I just booked a flight, like a one-way, it was like a 3 different destinations, solo trip. And I went to Germany, Athens and Santorini alone for my birthday. And then after that, I was like, whoa, okay, like this is what traveling's like. Okay. Then traveled a lot after, and I just needed something to fund my traveling. So swimwear just made sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was you not scared to travel alone? Just quick.
No, I don't believe in being scared of anything. My motto in life is what's the worst that can happen? Like, genuinely. Unless if I'm dead, cool, that's the worst. But
that's the worst of the worst.
That's the worst. But like, what is actually the worst? Some people be like, yeah, X, Y, and Z happened to me, and it's just like, now it's a story. It's like a little story time, like we were saying earlier. It's like a nice little story to tell the kids if something bad happens.
Yeah. So I know you also mentioned you started another business while you was at university. What was that?
So how it progressed, it was like I had this swimwear brand, then one day I walked into a shop and I was like, okay, there's lobster there. Let me see what I can do with this. And at this point, my cousin had been coming to my house all the time. Like, you know, them like actual kids that do not know how to cook. He was coming to my house all the time. So I used to make him food, and then he brought his friends, and I'm like, okay, you're taking the piss now a little bit. And then I started charging him for the food and charging his friends. And then from there, it was just like, okay, let me start actually charging uni students. So I started Chefed by JV, and it was, the logo was literally, the slogan was home away from home, because it was like, I'm cooking your home food and selling it to you. Nice. And it was, so that was that. And when COVID hit, unfortunately, my swimwear business just it literally plummeted, because no one was traveling, and China was, what happened was, it was Chinese New Year around February. And then straight after, so I was waiting for my suppliers to send me the swimwear. Straight after, all borders were closed and China just wasn't sending anything. And I remember like orders coming in up until February, because it was getting to that spring, like, you know, that summertime when people are actually like starting to order things in advance. And orders coming in and me being like, okay, my business is actually starting to finally really pick up, and then having to refund all of them because I couldn't like get my suppliers to bring me anything.
Did you not spend any of that money that the orders came through with?
So how it works is, until you've fulfilled an order, it doesn't actually go into your account. So yeah, that's the thing. Which, like, so when people say you need, or like you don't need money to like start a business, you technically do, because you have to go out of your own pocket to go buy that product. Yeah. And then even if it's drop shipping, you need like to go out your way, buy that product. And then once you have the profits, you obviously reimburse yourself.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So one of the things you mentioned, which we're not just going to brush over, and we did speak about it a bit off camera, was therapy.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Okay.
What was the reason for therapy, and why did you go?
So I think the first time it was a heavy identity crisis. Like, I'm such a strong person. I never thought, like, I'm the kind of person that I would just tell my friends, like, you know, man up, like, okay, you're
Man up to a woman.
like, it's just like, oh, okay, you're a bit depressed today, okay, cool, like, get out of bed, like, I didn't understand what, like, I feel, because I'm like, grateful that I've never been in a situation where I've actually felt like depressed, or like had those days where I'm like completely in bed, or like just had those days where I feel completely down. So when people told me this, it was so foreign to me. I was like, okay, you're having a bad day, get on with it. And it's just like, so I went to therapy in like the search of, I was like, something's not right. I've had like almost like what some people would be like a great enough life up until then. I had quite a lot of like, you know, the identity crisis thing. I had like this like impulsive need to consistently make money. I just didn't understand where I was coming from. And like bad things were happening. Like my cousin passed away, and my instant thing was, let me go travel. Like for me, it's only when I went to therapy, I was like, okay, this is escapism. I'm running away consistently. I don't give myself like just a second to breathe and just like actually go over the things, because for me, running 1,000 miles an hour is so much better than just sitting there and crying about it. So yeah, that was the main reason I went to therapy the very first time. There was also like just like some little family things where it's just like, you know, I think growing up, I just, anything that happens, brushed over completely. So it's just like I never had time to grieve over anything or to actually think about it. Whilst in therapy, I found out. This is where it gets juicy.
You know what? Pause. I was going to cry. I was like, this is where it gets juicy.
Yeah, so whilst in therapy, I obviously discovered like the escapism thing. Like it was like, the whole way through uni, like I said, my whole first year, I was drinking nonstop, and I was just like that wild party girl. And everyone was just like, you're so lit, you like lit vibes. But it's like, okay, but where's this actually coming from? Why do I feel the impulsive need to just like go out every single night? So it'll be like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. And then Monday, I'm like in uni with sunglasses on because I'm hungover, and we repeat the same thing every week. It was happening from the time I was like even 16. I had like a complete like wild out phase where I just, when I failed my A-levels the first time, I like wilded out. I was just like going out clubbing, using fake ID, doing all of that. And I was like, what is it that happened that caused this? And I found out it was like a lot of like little family things that had happened that I'd just been like, not a big deal, because I'm just like so used to brushing things over, had actually affected me so deeply inside. My cousin passing away, that affected me so heavily. Like now I can talk about it, but before I'd like just be like, yeah, because he was the same age as me, and he was going to uni when he actually passed, like he was on his way to uni, and he was someone that wanted to be at uni. Like he was so excited about it, and then had an accident on his way, and it was just like, I hated uni at that point. I was like, I just want to quit the moment I can. But it made me realize like I'm in such a privileged position where I've got like life. I can do anything with my life. I can like do anything. And I think that's the only thing that pushed me to finish my degree, because there's people that want this opportunity so much that we have, and people that just will never get in a million years. They don't live in the right places. They don't get the life. They don't get anything. And it's a lot of this came out of therapy.
Wow.
The biggest thing I found out is just like, which I discussed with you guys recently, was like, I'm always working. My brothers, they work, like they're contractors. They do like, you know, one's a DevOps engineer, one's a business analyst, and they work. Like it doesn't matter how big the contract is. It can be like, you know, £800 a day, but they're like, let me take on another one. Let me just work. And I realized it came from a place where our parents, like when we came to the UK, they would nonstop work 2 like jobs, and they would never see them because they were working, where it was like almost ingrained deep into like my psyche. It was deeply ingrained into me that the only way you'll ever become successful, or the only way you'll ever make money, is if you nonstop work. And if I never found that, I'd probably still be like burning myself out and like pretty much killing myself working, because and it was a pivotal point, because I was like, okay, if I want to be successful in life, what do I need to do without having to work myself? And yeah, I hope that answers.
That's a good question.
I want to ask you, if you don't mind touching on it, how did you feel when your cousin passed away? Like, how did you feel in that moment?
Do you know what? It was like the worst feeling on earth, because we'd just gotten close. Like, in Zimbabwean culture, how it is, it's like you grow up as brothers and sisters. Like your cousins are literally like your brothers. Like there'll be times where like my mom's sister would all like just look after us, or like my mom would look after all of us, but we all grow up together. It's like, that's not my brother, that's my sister. So having not seen him since I'd left Zim, but then rebuilding that relationship, literally just over WhatsApp, just talking all the time. And he was at uni in Cyprus, and it was just like little things like, oh, I'm gonna come and see you in Cyprus. And then he moved over to like Poland to uni, and that's why he was going, and he didn't start. So it was so difficult. And I think what made it more difficult was I was going through a heartbreak. It was like my first ever heartbreak at this, like literally at the same time. Like my heart was broken in like a million pieces. So it was so difficult. And I remember just like, I think at that point, I was just like very heavily into uni, but it was like another escapism. But then I just like ended up ECing the whole semester and just like crying every day. And I didn't cry. So for me, crying, this is like, yo, something heavy is happening here. But it was like the most difficult thing. And I blamed myself a lot, because like, I think he tried to build a relationship for so much longer than I had. But because I'm such a terrible replier, so it'll just be like, we became almost close at like really late on, where I could have done so much to like build that relationship earlier on. And he just pushed me to want to do better, because he was just so excited about traveling the world, seeing everything. I just wanted to be free and liberal. So I essentially always said like, you know, I've completed my degree for him, and I completed like just started doing traveling for myself, but just for him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And
so after you went through that, how did the food business go?
So in terms of timeline, this happened 2018 September, and then the swimwear business was 2019, and then the food business was like end of 2019 to 2020. So it was kind of like progressively there, but it was kind of like over time. Food business, this links back to the second time I went to therapy of consistently working. So at this point, I'd met my mentor, And I was like, I'm gonna go ham with marketing. Like, I can't believe I've just discovered this. Like, what the hell is this? I've just like closed down my business, which was my swimwear business. And like built up a whole swimwear business using influencer marketing. Like even my models, I'd use like models that had like over 30,000, 40,000 followers on Instagram. Like people that I knew they're gonna post this on their Instagram if we take the right pictures of them. So it was like I'd really unlocked into this is what marketing looks like. This was my real first stint at a business. So I was doing Photoshop alone. I didn't know what Canva was, but I was using it. I didn't know what how to use a camera. I had like this equipment for a photo shoot and I didn't even know how to use any of it. So just invoicing, billing, all of that. I learned it all from YouTube. And then COVID happens, the business closes, and I've just got these skills. And I'm like, what the hell do I do with this? So built my business, my food business, moved over to Milton Keynes, because COVID and uni was closed. And with that, it was like, okay, I'm charging £5 to £10 these uni students because they don't have the money. Milton Keynes is like, 9 to 5 little haven. Everyone there's no university, so everyone there was an actual worker. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'm charging £5 to £10 for uni students. How do I pivot this so that I can like completely rebrand and change it over?
That's a bargain, by the way.
Honestly, but it's like
10.
they couldn't afford it, and for me, it was costing me far less. It was just like the food I'd make myself anyway, So I'm just like making it in bulk, and people were buying. So I started I really thought, let me rebrand myself so much so that this looks state of the art. And I was doing seafood boils, and they weren't just seafood boils. It was like platters. It was like 2 seafood boils, burgers as well. You got your fries, you got your sides, you've got everything that you need. And this was £50. So it went from £5 to 50 because I was like, I've got a whole new market, and I learned adaptability and how to pivot. Mm-hmm. And this is when I was like, it's a lockdown, so we couldn't do anything. All I could do was just go deliver food. And it was amazing because all restaurants were closed, so my business was booming. I got into manifestation heavy at this point, and I was just like, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me that I can just use my mind and tell myself you want this and then you just get it? So at this point I was literally getting 300, I'd be in the morning, today's going to be a £350 day. Today's going to be a £350 day. Mm-hmm. Say over and over and over again. And it would literally happen. And I was like, oh my God, what have I just unlocked something here? And then I remember there was one day I thought, let me dibble and dabble. Let me find out what I can do here. And I was like, today's going to be a £600 day. And kid you not, that day was my first ever day where I got 15 orders in one day. And it was whoa, okay, I can do this all on my own. I'm the delivery driver. I'm the cooker. I'm the fulfillment person. I'm the customer service. I'm everything. So it was at that point I was like, okay, this is really good money. And I started calling in sick to Tesco. I was working at Tesco at the time. Shout out Tesco. I was working at Tesco at the time. I was starting calling in sick because how am I making £600 a day just selling food and using marketing skills that I, already know. So now to answer your actual question about how it went and where I closed. So I closed it down because I was up from 7 a.m. up until 10 p.m. in the kitchen the entire day, driving around through MK the entire day. I've made £600, but I'm on my feet the entire day. And I was worn out. And it came back to that question of, okay, I've got all of these transferable skills. I know how to build a business. I've done it twice now. How do I use this in a way I'm going to make money and I'm going to make it unlimited amounts of money doing as little as possible. And with the therapy of okay, I was like, I don't need to work twice as hard in order to make twice as much. I know I can work less hard and make money still. Mm-hmm. That's when I invested in myself. All of the money I'd made from the food business, the swimwear business, I thought, let me just buy as many courses, pay for mentorship, and do everything I need to do in order to learn how to actually utilize my skills as a marketer and get out there. And by the end of that year, so this was June 7th, 2020, that's when I quit my job at Tesco. And by December, I'd made £4,000 in 1 month and was flying a business class to Dubai.
Crazy. So, just from food?
I'd start my marketing agency at this point. Okay. So, and I would never have been able to do that if I just hadn't really tapped in and found out this is what I can do. And manifestation played a massive role in that because I believed in myself more than I've ever believed in myself.
So with the marketing agency, how exactly was you marketing, and what was you marketing?
So I had no direction. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like, how am I going to go and tell everyone I do like Facebook ads, but I don't know whether I like content creation. I don't know if I like social media marketing. I just don't know. I was like really just figuring it out. And I think the first like 3 years of like my actual marketing, I was figuring it out. And so I was a freelancer at that point. I would go ham. I had this like, I literally say this all the time, but I had this like crackhead mentality, and I was like, I cannot go to sleep until I make money today. It can't all be for nothing. I finished uni in a year now, so I need to actually like be set up and be on my feet. So it was like a case of I decided, let me just start like a digital marketing agency so it houses everything. And at this point, I was like, I don't know how to do everything. I know I don't know how to do everything. At first, I was trying to force doing everything so I would keep as much profits. So anytime anyone would ask for anything that I don't know how to do, I'd go and find a freelancer to do that thing and take like profit from just being the middleman. And that's how I ended up doing like a digital marketing. Even now, my agency houses pretty much all forms of marketing. Anything you need, we do it at Brand Blueprint Co.
Shout out.
And Blueprint Co. So I want to know how much did you make from the swimwear? How much did you make from the food? I just want to know.
So swimwear, I would say between when it opened in 2019 up until when it closed in 2020, I'd say about £9,000. And for a uni like this, for me now, I'm like, these are small numbers. How are you making that much in a year from like this? But hear me, guys. For a uni student that is selling like £20 swimwear and literally had no clue what I was doing, this was my first ever business. This was amazing for me. I was freaking. I was literally telling my dad, like, oh my God, I just got my 100th order. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And like my whole family would be forced, like I'd literally force them to like celebrate with me because this is a big deal for me, you know? So yeah, that was how much I made from that. For my food business, it's a weird one because I moved out of MK, but still carried on whenever I came back to MK. But when I was actually prominently in Milton Keynes from that March up until, I'd say, November time, when it was like thoroughly opened, that was about 15K. And so that was like, okay, right, I'm making a little bit of money here. I'm a student, so this is kind of getting somewhere. And I also had some money from Tesco. So this is where JV finance came about. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, I want to know, give me some advice for marketing, because you said you marketed the food business and then obviously you opened your own digital marketing agency.
Yeah.
Give the viewers 3 tips.
Okay, so there's no one fits all approach when it comes to marketing. So people,
Say that again, sorry?
There is no one fits all approach when it comes to marketing. People will literally come to me and be like, here's my business, get me these results. And I'm like, okay, but we need to test it. Like, I know how to market for like a real estate company. I know how to market for a beautician. I know how to market for pretty much any niche that you can think of. But in order to actually find that approach that works, you need to test and find out who your audience are. The one other thing you'll find is like your brand avatar, who you think in your head. You guys probably find this, like the viewers you think you were going to get when you first started, and not necessarily just the viewers you have now. It's probably more diverse, or it's a different avatar.
Yeah. We're younger, but we got some of the older audience as well.
Yeah, so it's like people come to me and they're like, this is my brand avatar, this is who my business is built for. And then I actually go in and test and then find out, no, that's not who is buying. That's not who you're actually appealing to. So we either have to rebrand or we have to go in and like change things. So don't close yourself off and be like, this is who my target audience is. This is who I've built my business for, because it's not. And that's not going to be your only buyers. I had women of all shapes, sizes, everything like buying my swimwear, and it wasn't just who I thought it would be. Final thing. This is heavy because there's so much I can say. Do so much research into like what your actual business is. A lot of businesses fail in the first 6 months because they just don't do that research that they need to into how to actually tackle. They think, okay, I've got a shop, people are going to come to it, and it's like trying to do a business without marketing is like trying to wink in the dark. you know what you're doing, but no one else can see it. So as a business owner, you need to actually put like marketing at the forefront of absolutely everything you do, because no one's ever going to see this amazing like business, like sculpture you've built, or this amazing like podcast you guys have. It's like you have to shamelessly promote until you've made noise and everyone hears it.
Okay, that's some gems on marketing.
Yeah, I feel like I dropped like 10 in that final one.
So now that someone's marketed their business or themselves and their service, how would you go about pricing? How did you go about pricing yourself?
So it is like it all goes back to testing. So when I say test, I mean that test. It's like, don't just test like your different like ads, like, oh, let me try this ad, this A to B ad with like different text, different images, different what. Like, try different branding, try different audiences, try different prices. So like with me, I could have just been like, okay, I've got customers buying my food business at £5 to £10. Let's just stick with like that £5 to £10. And unless if I tested that like £50, I would never, I think I did £30 at first, found, okay, people are buying, and then thought, okay, let's do £50. And people were still buying. So until you've exhausted all options, don't like decide, okay, I'm just not gonna.
But when do you know increasing the pricing is kind of at its limit? Because you said you stopped at 50.
Yeah.
You could have made it 70.
Yeah, I think
didn't you go there?
like, let's be realistic, yeah. Would you buy from like a random little like girl home kitchen, would you buy seafood boil for £70?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and
okay.
it's like at some point, like I think some people, I saw someone doing like a sales call for like £15,000 for an hour, and it's like, I get what you're trying to do. I see like, you know, that high ticket offer. I see it, I get it, but no one's paying you that much.
15 for 1
And
hour.
it's like, who are you? And it's like, you're not like Jordan Belfort. You're not flipping, Tim Glover or anyone. Like, I'm not paying you 15 grand to do that one call. So it's like, sometimes you have to use your emotional intelligence and know, okay, this is kind of like the limits I'm going to do it. But don't ever let anyone tell you you're too cheap. And this is one thing I found recently.
That's interesting.
With sorry, not too cheap. No, guys.
Oh, okay,
Everyone
okay.
was like, oh, and then I was like, wait, why is everyone saying, oh, it's expensive?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't ever let anyone tell you you're too expensive. And I learned this the other day, like with I was giving a website to someone, like they're a friend's friend. So they came through me and I was like, okay, because they're a friend's friend, let me give them a discount. This person wanted to take the piss, okay?
How much was the discount?
So it was £1,000 because it's like, I know this person does not have the funds, they don't have the means, but it was like almost a favor to someone to do this website. And this person wanted to take the piss. So for me, an e-commerce website, minimum was saying 1,750, 5 products. And I'm coding it, I'm doing the most, I'm gonna really go in, yeah. This person was like, I want 200 products added on there. And I'm like, okay, we can like, I'm sure, if you put on this CSV file, I can quickly do that and it all uploads at once. And they were like, no, each individual product is different and has different like descriptions, so you have to individually put it in. And I'm thinking, I've given you this website for £750 and you're telling me you want to add 200 products, and then you have nerve and cheek to tell me that that's too expensive. And then it was just like, okay, like I'm not doing it, like it's not happening. And they're like, I found someone that's doing it for 600. And I'm thinking, no one's doing 200 products and adding them on for you. That's like daylight robbery. I worked out my actual wage, like how many hours it will take me and how much I would earn an hour. That's how I price my products, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I was gonna earn like £11 an hour. And I was like, if I'm gonna do that, let me go back to working at Disco. Like that is. And then next day, one of the guys on my sales team was like, I've got this American client, 2 websites, 23,000. And it's like, that's literally the next day after someone's told me £750 is too expensive. So don't ever let anyone tell you it's too expensive.
Yeah. So I want to say, I think I was going to say before. So how is it you exactly...
Blunder.
Because I had the question before.
Should have
before
wrote it
you
down.
said. Yeah, probably should have. Okay, that's it. So I was gonna say, how exactly is it you was building the offer when it came to marketing? So like, would you offer in package deals? Did you ever set like a high ticket for any of them, or was it just all small packages added on top of each other to get the higher ticket?
Yeah, so a lot of like people will tell you need to be doing that high ticket offer. It needs to be £10,000 if you don't do
Everywhere,
it.
everyone says,
Everyone.
drop clients, make the high ticket offer, or because you don't want to have a lot of small clients, you just want to,
That's it, exactly. So they're literally, every single person that you'll see on YouTube right now, they're lying to you and they're wrong because everything I see now is just people are telling you, but no one is actioning it and actually, no one's lived the experience and lived the market.
Facts.
And
I'm sure we said this the other day, but carry on.
What's that?
Carry on though.
Yeah.
Carry on. I'll say it. Carry on.
so no one's lived the experience and market to know. Like I've got clients that are literally corporate clients. I've worked with like some of the biggest names in the UK and they would never in a million years, they were laughing at other companies for even charging them something. So people will tell you charge £10,000 so that you only have 3 clients a year, then that's 30 grand and then you just retire off. Or like, and it's like Alex Hormozi's $1 million offer is all based on this like high ticket concept. But it's also like, if you have like your underlining offer, so let's say for me, a website in this instance, 1,750, and then I offer them SEO, let's add it on for 500. And then you want branding, cool, let's add that on. Let's do that for like 500 as well. You want a logo and that kind of stuff, cool, we'll add it on. And then by the end of it, this fully stacked offer is up to like £3,000. And I'm like, okay, I'm giving you this offer for £3,000 because I'm giving you a lot of value. I don't just walk in and say, this is a £3,000 like website, just get it. And that's it. And then I expect you to just say yes. Like you need to actually showcase, this is where the value is coming from and this is what I'm going to do for you. And this is how much I would normally charge if you do like X, Y, and Z. And then the person has an option to like remove it or if they don't need it. Like there's no point in you working overtime and doing the most if someone's got their branding and logo and everything done.
I was going to say, so do you think a lot of people miss out on a lot of closing clients when they're saying they're offering the high ticket when some people just need the actual one thing in the package?
Yeah, so I do feel, because I think when I do speak to like some clients and I hear like their objections, I'm heavy on it when I'm closing sales. I need to know, why did you say no? Like, tell me your objections. Tell me like, what is it about it that's wrong? Give me like feedback. Tell me this is like the worst thing you've ever heard, or this is like I need to know so that I can make it better for the next person or actually close you because I can like answer the questions to your objections. And a lot of people find like they're just being sold to. They're being told, I'm going to do this. But then when push comes to shove, you didn't listen to the person. They didn't need that. They didn't even like, you're telling them, I'll rebrand your entire You're not showing them results. You're just telling them what you will do for them and why you need to actually like, they need to pay you. But you're not listening and solving their problem.
Yeah.
And if more people solved problems, more people would actually close sales because that's all a prospect is looking for.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Tell them again.
Facts.
What was you going to say, my brother?
We spoke about this yesterday. It was slightly different though. It was coaches offering high ticket offers okay, we can basically rebrand your coaching business and make you a high ticket offer to clients. But I'm like, you're gonna do all of that, but you haven't done it yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you've got no case studies, but you're saying you can do this and that.
But I think well, one thing I was going to say, you also lose out on a lot of clients because then again, you build that high ticket offer. Not a lot of clients can even, the smaller ones, they could actually accumulate to the high ticket offer.
It's true. But I think it's like a give or take. So like what you've just said now, it's like you need to, I wasted time on that phone call and I wasted time like trying to sell to this person who was never going to buy anyway because it's just not necessary. Instead of wasting all of that time, I ended up closing like a much bigger like offer like the next day, and it'll take me so many clients to get to that. So it's like right in one sense, but it's wrong in the sense that it's not like this deal. It's like 23K, but it's so stacked on. There's so much I'm offering. It's a multi-site with like different languages, different like, pathways.
Okay.
It's so stacked on. It's not just like I'm making you a simple website for this. It's like there's actual value being added onto it.
Did you work at the hours?
Yeah, how long is it going to take you?
Oh, it's going to take 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's
But like when you do like the pricing compared to everybody else,
Yeah.
did that make sense?
Yeah, so it made so much sense. Like, I'm still making a lot of profit. Like, it is like £17,000, but it's like in dollars. That's why it's 23.
Okay.
It's an American client. Americans they just
Big up America.
they just give
Yeah,
in.
I feel like Americans pay more anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say Americans are a lot more corporate than the UK.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff from random sides.
And everything is expensive over there, so they've just got the culture of knowing how to just.
American dream, man. Just come there, get money.
There was one thing I was actually going to say. Oh my God, yeah, this is it. One thing I do not like is coaches for coaches. Like, why are you coaching?
We spoke about
This is what we
yesterday.
spoke about?
We said, how can you ask for a coach who does, let's say, a coach in business, who hasn't even owned a business or doesn't even know anything about business? I've got a business degree. What business?
My gears. I don't like. I don't like them. I don't like them. And Bali is full of them. It's just like
I'm
it's
not
like
surprised.
the haven for coach, and it's like you have never you failed at coaching, and that's why you want to now teach people how to coach. It's like the business coaches that have never owned a business. You failed at your own business and realized it's not making you money, and now you want to sell business, like how to start a business. But how am I buying from you when you don't have a case study of your own business? Like, and I think I was really skeptical about starting coaching myself for that reason. Well, I was like, okay, at the time I think I was 22, 23, and I was like, how am I teaching someone else? I've only had like maybe 4 or 5 years of business experience. Why would they I can't teach you the vast knowledge for like £10,000 that you're going to get from like someone who's been in business for like 30 years. At this point, I'm just like trying to get a quick sale out of you and teach you like absolutely the surface level. I'm going to Google things to teach you when you can just Google it yourself for free.
Yeah, it's facts.
Yeah,
It's facts.
so they
That's
grind
essentially
my
what
gears.
we spoke about yesterday, man. That's
Yeah, they grind my gears.
I think it was like, who was it? Someone, I think I said the name. Someone came up to us talking about the podcast coach. And then I think we asked them about, so what podcast has he got? And it was like, oh mate, they had a small podcast. So I'm like, you're not really gonna take advice from somebody who's
It's what I
who's
mean.
on the
It's like,
same,
yo.
like,
And I think that is one thing like I can actually go into right now. There's nothing more important as a business owner, especially as an agency owner, than being like having a portfolio. You need a portfolio.
Case studies.
Like no one cares like what you're gonna do for me. Like I don't care. You talk is cheap. You can tell me, oh, I'm gonna make you a 6-figure business. Okay, but who has made me a 6-figure business? Like who has actually gone to you and done this? What evidence do you have that this is going to work? I'm just putting my faith in you if you haven't done it with anyone else. And when you're starting out, everyone's always like, okay, but how do I start out if I don't have a portfolio? Start a business, like literally go on Spotify, start a quick business and learn how to market using that business. Literally use that business, create as your baby. You want to be a social media manager, grow an Instagram account. Like you need to learn about long game. You can't just think, okay, let me just like become a social media manager today. I need to get clients in straight away. Like do the long game, grow your own social media account, grow it to like 10K, and then you can go and tell someone, I grew this account to 10K.
Yeah, this is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because I always said to myself, obviously I've grown a few accounts, and obviously
Yeah.
that's great. And then I'm like, oh, if I really can do it, why haven't I grown mine?
It's
You get-
different.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
I've also said that to Kaya because I was like, oh, it's easier to grow someone else's because I get paid for it.
Yeah,
Whereas
100%.
growing mine, it's more of I'm getting paid for it, so I'm
100%.
losing out. Whereas if I just dedicated my time to someone else's account, I'd I'd be getting money for
And
it.
time is money, like I can't lie. But it's like, so in this sense, like as you've just said, I don't mean it like grow your own personal brand. Like I mean, go and start a little business, even if it's like a quick little drop shipping business, just something where you can actually learn, because experience is the best teacher. You've now had the experience because you've got the portfolio, but someone literally starting today, they have no experience and they've just learned from YouTube and how are you doing something for someone when you haven't even bothered trying it out first yourself?
True.
So your advice would be to someone who's looking to start in something, actually go out there, gain experience first, and then sell the service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's great. So I want to ask you a question just based on your offer. So how is it you build your offer and then actually close the client? So talk us through your pitch, if you don't mind us asking.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So I now have a sales team, but before, like when I would actually sit and speak to people.
Oh, so you have people who close the...
Yeah, because time is money. and I think one thing I used to find is I'd get so burnt out after speaking to people all day that I can't give my all to like the final person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was just, but how I would essentially do it is I love to listen. I'm like, I have sales scripts and I love to listen to someone. Majority of my sales scripts, especially when I used to give it to like my students or whatever, it would just be like, listen to what the person's doing. Ask as many questions as you need to and use that against them. Psychology. I created a whole sales script from, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene.
Yeah. Shout out Robert Greene. Creates everything.
Shout out to him.
Creates everything.
Yeah, I created a whole sales script out of it on how you can actually seduce a prospect into wanting to buy from you, the kind of like psychological things you can say and all of that kind of thing. Like just listen to someone. People love talking about themselves more than anything on this planet Earth. Use that against them and use like their love for themselves, their love for their business to create it. So if I'm like speaking to someone, I'll ask them the initial questions. Where do you see yourself in the next year? If we're having this conversation exactly a year from now, where do you see yourself? And tell me the craziest dream. Like, I don't care. I don't want to hear like a little, I'll be like making like 200K. So I don't know if you're like, tell me I want to be a billionaire by next year. Like, tell me like something that I can help you achieve and make it as crazy as it needs to be. At the end of the call, I'm then going to turn it around and say to you, you said you've got a child and you want your child to grow up seeing you as a boss mom and you want to create that 2 billion whatever off business. What we're going to, I'm going to help you to get there. I'm the vessel you need to get to that. Right now, you're stuck. In the next 6 months, you'll regret not having gone forward with me because you'll be stuck in the same place. And based on what they've told me about their business, their aims, where they want to get to, I can then craft an offer for them. And that's the best thing about doing digital marketing. I don't just offer one thing. I'm not going to tell you, spend $8K a month on paid ads when you haven't even sorted out your actual sales funnel. If there's holes in your sales funnel and people are clicking on your website and then clicking off before they've gone on to the next page, it doesn't make sense for me to be running ads to that page. So that's where it all ties in. I'm going to do like a full business audit and then tell you, this is the offer I've created for you. This is what your business needs. And this is how we're going to fulfill it and then create a proposal from there.
So first you highlight the problem, then a solution, and then obviously provide the offer and then close.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It actually does make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So like, how do you deal with, so you obviously spoke about objections. How would you further deal with objections?
So usually
some you probably faced yourself.
Yeah, so usually people's objections are just a bit of hesitation, a bit of like they're uncertain. You solidify that trust with them. How? So if someone's like, I just need to go and ask my wife, or I just need to go and ask, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to ask them? Like, I can answer it for you right now. Any questions you have, you're going to get them from me rather than going off and asking someone. Like, one thing I hate is letting someone walk away before they've paid. So I need someone to pay deposit in that call whilst I'm on the phone. That I'll think about, or I'll talk to you next week, or let's book in another call. They're gonna just cancel. But whilst they're vulnerable in that situation, they're like a bit like 80% yes, a bit 20% no. You've got them. The further you leave it, the longer the time, the further they slip away from you. So with many of like the objections, like especially with marketing, people are like, but how do I really know? I re-emphasize, this is my case studies. This is who I've worked with. This is what I've done for them. Like, I have like some big deals that I've done that I haven't reached out. It's like companies have come to me, and for companies to be reaching out to my agency, that should show you that I've got something to offer. And it's just using little things like that and just making them feel like, you are an absolute disadvantage. And I feel like I want to share my sales script with people. Can I just like give a little link? It's free.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you sell it or what? Where is it?
Yeah, so it used to be part of a £20 course, and the only reason I made it £20 because it took me like a week to make, and I was like, let me make my money's worth. But now I've made like so much money from I made £5,000 from a £20.
I was going to ask you about that because I remember, is that the same thing that you was selling on Black Friday last year?
So with Josh, Code Sweet, shout out, we done like a little like a little bundle offer where we're just offering a few things. But yeah, that was like a £20 offer, and I only made it that much. Like Alex Hamosi says, give things for free, and I only made that much just because it took me a week to make. Like, come on, let's go. And I didn't expect so many people to buy it, but the fact that I actually made £5,000 from it, it also shows you don't really need a high ticket offer. Because,
I was gonna say low ticket works pretty well.
So talk us through the actual set. Wait, people have to buy it? Is it free now?
Yeah, it's free.
It's free now. Yeah, so talk us through the offer. Like, how do you do it?
Okay, so
what are some of the qualifying questions you ask
first,
people?
where can they find it?
So you can find it at Brand Blueprint Academy.
We'll put it in the link in the bio as well.
Yeah, link in the bio. So they'll put the link, just click down there. Okay, so with this, it is like a freelancing, like a pro scale to 6-figure salary. And the reason I did this is I think I'd had like 6 months straight of 10K plus months. And I was like, okay, I think I'm maybe qualified to actually tell a freelancer how to make money. I'm not just like in it.
As you said, you had that case study.
So I was like, okay, I'm at a point and I was like, okay, this is what I've done. It was like January like 6th and I'd literally made I think it was 11,000. There's a screenshot on the course, so you'll see it. I'd made £11,000 in the first 6 days of the year, and everyone was asking me, "How did you do it? Like, how did you do it? How did you do it?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna like just keep answering everyone individually. Let me just make a quick course, and you guys can do it." And I'm disappointed. Like, a lot of people have used it and then actually gotten a lot of money, but I did like a little poll of who's actioned it, and like 80% of people said I hadn't. So you're in charge of your own destiny. If you don't action it, you're going to be broke forever. And that's you. But I've done my part, you know? And with that, I do outreach. So as a freelancer, I used to outreach. Like I said, I had that crackhead mentality. I don't care where it's coming from. I'm literally messaging 10 people a day minimum, and I won't sleep unless it's done.
This guy called Cam, he said, if you want to make 10K a month, outreach to 50 people a day.
Yeah.
And once you do that for a month.
So was you doing like Instagram DMs, emails?
Instagram, LinkedIn, emails, everything. And shout out to Josh again, because Code Suite Web Scrapping, he gets everything from LinkedIn. Everything you need. Yo, and it gets
them
everything
emails,
and then you can just we started a little lead generation company there, but you know.
Yeah, he told me briefly about that.
Yeah, we just didn't have time, bless us, to carry that on. But yeah, outreach. Even if people say no to you, ask them, like, you know, don't say too much on that like initial message. Just become friendly, because one thing that annoys me so much is those messages, we all get them, like just people forcing their offer onto us.
Yeah.
Like,
being very assertive in the offer, like, take what I've got, look what I've got. Yeah,
like, just think about from yourself. If someone messaged you right now, what would make you reply? So I like a little icebreaker, like, hi John, I see that you are a business owner. What's like the biggest problems you're facing? Or what's like the biggest like setbacks you're facing in your business? Just something. Or like, I'll just like, hi John, how's everything going with X and Y business, like the business in their bio, whatever. Just to like start that conversation. Because
everyone customized? Every message customized?
Now it is, because I've got a sales team. Started off very customized because I was hungry. I was hungry to make money. And then after, when like things kicked off, it then kind of became a task, but I didn't get any results when I was just like making it that customized. But I'm going to get to it, because there was a way I found a lot of people coming to me instead. So you do that, and then they start telling you, and then you don't even need to tell them I help people with X, Y, Z. You just tell them, I'm going to, do you want to jump on like a virtual coffee? Like, we can talk a little bit more about your business. I'd love to know more about it. Don't tell them what you do. Just be as ambiguous as it is. You just want them to like talk about themselves, because people love talking about themselves. And the minute you say, I do this or I offer this, that's when they're like, no, you're selling me something.
You're gonna sell. They don't want to feel like they're being salted.
Yeah, honestly, and be as friendly as possible. Like, imagine if you're going out for a coffee with your friend, be like that. Find relatable things. So that's why I say ask them as many questions. You want to be as relatable as possible. So that's one route. That is the cold messaging to a cold audience. If you want that warmer audience, still like lukewarm, just like really cold but warm, but not warm enough yet, is what I used to do is go into Facebook groups and then just type in, like, you know, it's nearly Christmas. What's one thing you guys are struggling with? I'm offering a free like call, just for like a free strategy call, just to hear like what you're struggling with and what I can help with, completely free of charge.
That's how you were sliding. Oh, just so helps. I actually work.
Honestly, so
that
literally,
is smart.
That's what I was saying about the pitch that I was doing. So obviously you had some questions, and just so helps. Just got on the shirt.
So with this, it's like they would literally, like, I remember posting on one Black Business Network, and it had, I think, like 14,000 people. No, 140,000 people at this point, right? And I got 294 comments on this one post. And that's when I was like, okay, I need a Calendly. I need something.
I was gonna say, did you not drop the
back
link?
then? No, I wasn't ready. Like, I was just a business owner trying to make money who just had experience. I just didn't have anything prepared like that. I didn't even have a website at this point. I was just outreaching and then just like, this is what I've done for myself. If they tell me, yeah, I'm still struggling to start a business, I'm like, yeah, I've been in the same shoes as you. That relatability was the most important thing. And all of these people, I remember I spent my entire Christmas break on the phone non-stop to everyone. Like, I got through everyone. And from that's how I closed like my first 10 clients and that worked a lot more than cold.
What's
like,
that?
The Facebook group posting.
Facebook.
Yeah.
So you're saying a Facebook group, was it because it was more of a group chat? So as you said, you're all talking in there.
Yeah, so it was like it's 140 black business owners in the UK.
What was more the target audience for Facebook? Was it more like older people who actually?
Yeah, so I love like my first few clients to death. Like some of them I had with them until last year. I love them. Like they were like my aunties, and like they were like we were so friendly with each other because they were just like, to me, I can see myself in you, or like they just wanted like me to just be what their children are just bombs or whatever, and they saw me and they're like, okay, I need someone to help me. And I got like, the most amazing results for them because the relationship was so authentic. That's the only negative thing about now. It's kind of like a more corporate, a more like actual agency that can't build those like initial friendliness, but it's more professional, I guess. But yeah, had to set a lot of boundaries because some of them would be calling me at all hours of the day thinking that they can just tell me about their life, and it's like, go away. So Facebook groups were the biggest help, and that's why I found a lot of my first few clients. They were older, definitely had a bit of disposable income, bit of money to just kind of throw and start a business on the side. Whereas the younger people are high risk. They could be making like 20K a month, and still they'll be like, let me go do it myself. Like,
Instead of just delegating the task.
Yeah, but they're still learning. They'll need to be in a couple of years.
Those are some good outreach
Yeah,
methods.
facts. You know what? I was gonna say people pay for this kind of information.
Yeah.
People out here paying for this information.
Yeah, and I think just because now I don't really coach, just because I don't have time to do it, that's why I'm just like, I'm happy to just give it away.
So just then, the coaching. What were some of the things you were coaching to a lot of your mentees?
So for me, it was like very personalized because I've got a vast wealth of knowledge. It is a case of I would coach like either web development, business growth, or agency growth because those are like the
three you was in.
Yeah, the three areas I'm like heavily in. And it was amazing. It was really cheap, I can't lie. Like, it was £100 per session. And I'm giving you like thousands of pounds worth of gems that you can go and make.
So it's just rather than £100 for a conversation, extract as much knowledge as possible.
No, like a structured 8-week course.
Oh, it's a structured 8-week course.
Yeah, so £800.
Did you think it was what? Did you think it was what I thought? Did you think it was what I thought?
As in
a phone call, and I can ask you anything.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But still,
£800
£800 is still cheap though.
Yes.
Because I know people are charged probably like $2,000 just to be.
Yeah, it was cheap, and I think the main reason was just because
Still offering that.
I was tired. Like I think I don't know how to reply to people. I just can't. I was tired, and I was like, "You're consistent. Everyone's consistently asking me the same questions all the time. I've just got all of this knowledge to give, and I can make it quickly using Canva.
Did you pre-record it?
I didn't at this point, and then I recorded it. I started recording them as I was going, and then I started creating them. But it was one thing is I wanted it personalized as hell because it's like it wasn't for me. It wasn't about making money. It was just about actually empowering people and making.
So you kind of wanted that to build rapport and an actual relationship with them.
Yeah. So like,
do you feel like that was in a way it didn't help your business as well because it would have cost a lot more time and a lot more energy to build that relationship?
It was like the kind of times that I'd be free and watching Netflix anyway, like once a week or once every 2 weeks. And like two of my mentees are actually my really close friends now. So it was for me, it was like even like Shio Network, I created that from with one of my mentees where we're just like chatting away and a thing. But one of the things that stuck out to me the most is that I think in the previous year from when I did start, so this was 2021, 37% of Black women reported not making a profit, whereas 15% of white women reported having not made a profit. So that massive gap there, I was like, something's wrong. and I need to empower like I need to empower our BAME women. And I found, although I did have male mentees, it's like the median profits that a man makes is like 45 grand a year, whereas like it's 15 grand or something. I think 17 grand for women. And it's like that massive gap made me just want to empower women far more than I did want to empower men, because y'all got resources for days. Like,
Why do you think that is? Why do you think the women's results were a lot lesser than the men's?
So this is one thing I really wanted to like really delve into, and I think that's where CEO Network was born out of this, because it was, what is it like? Why is it I will post all of this, but men are the ones that are so driven? Like every single social situation I'm in, every group chat I'm in, every like self-development thing, I'm like the only girl there. Like, what is it? What's the issue? And when I actually created CEO Network, I found like just speaking to women, they're almost intimidated by like a very male-dominated industry, where it's like someone's like, oh, I'm in tech, and you mostly will hear like men doing that, or it's like something that men will go out there and like network with other men and just like speak about. And like I've mentioned, I had like a bad experience with like a male mentor of mine. It's just like women more or less, like I think they're almost intimidated to actually go out there and like just start, because they need someone to guide them, but there isn't really a lot of women to look up to. Like, as a woman, I thought Oprah Winfrey was the only black woman that's.
To be honest, I think we had this with Marnie yesterday when she came on. She mentioned how like for women there isn't that really example for women in business who can actually empower them, actually lead them onto that next level. So yeah, I like that CEO.
Yeah,
CEO. Yeah, that's hard.
So yeah, and when we did like our event in Birmingham, like so many women came. I think it was like 95 women came, and it was just like, whoa, wait, women are there and women are willing to. I go to networking events all the time, but it's just men are there. So what? Like, I think it just opened that like comfortable zone for women to just come and be like, okay, I can speak to other people. There's like a safe space for me. And yeah, that was our main thing. And like before, like I said, when I used to be like, okay, who do I look up to as a woman? I'll just be like, Oprah Winfrey, because she's like the first black billionaire, like female black billionaire. And I'll just be like, okay, yeah, but I need to know more people. And like, now for me, it's just like Kathy Hughes. She was like the first ever black woman to go public with a company with her TV channel, and Madam CJ Walker, like
I'm not sure.
the first ever female millionaire, like point blank period. And she was black.
Self-made.
Yeah, self-made. So some people are like, it's probably someone, but it's not really it wasn't recorded. But yeah, she was. And now because I've actually like taken on, like started speaking to more women, started like actually having that thing of like, I want to break some glass ceilings. I want to go in and like actually tell black women that it's okay. You're allowed to do things, you don't have to just be like, okay, I'm that lash tech, I'm that nail tech, and that's as far as it goes. You're allowed to actually make something excessive of yourself, and other women are pioneers and are example.
So do you think that's a barrier for black women, where they feel as if they maybe shouldn't progress as much as men, or even think about starting a business?
You get two types of women.
Ooh,
you get the city girls.
Damn.
Majority.
And they don't care. They actually don't. Like, when I think I used to find it so draining trying to speak to women, because why do you not care? Like, why do you not care about things that are going to impact you, your children, your generations to go? Like, you just think, if a man pays for all my stuff, I'm good. If a man looks after me, I'm good. And that's just where it ends. You don't think about like the long-term legacy or what you're actually doing for yourself. And then you get the other women that are actually so driven, but they don't have anyone around them to share it with. One thing that I know men know how to do is collaborate. And that's what I was even saying to you. Like, when I met, one with Zach, Nero, even Jacob, JMB, like all of them guys, like they were all collaborating and doing a lot and growing together. And it's just, with women, it'll just be like one woman I know up north, or one woman I know in London, and they're separately doing their own thing, but they just don't have a platform to just grow together and actually empower each other and teach each other, this is how you can go further, this is how you can make millions, or this is what I've done. So I think it's a lack of resource rather than a lack of,
Okay.
So city girls versus business girls.
Yeah.
So why do you feel like, as a woman, they feel city girls need to just not be involved in?
Sorry, I keep kicking you.
So why do you think girls feel like they don't need to just be outside having fun and not be actually interested in taking care of their future? Because it is a lot common then.
Yeah, I can't lie, yeah. Like, I think when I was, like, in my first year of uni, like I said, when I was just, like, I was just doing that, like,
Wilding out,
and it's like,
Wilding out, yeah.
yeah, I was wild now. And it's like, when you go from, like, actually having an entrepreneurial mind, influence is everything. Everyone you're around is everything. And a lot of women, like, when I look at my uni friends that I had then, they're just nowhere near, like, the female friends that I have now. Like, we're completely different, like, ball games. And I wanted to change, and I thought, this is wrong. I want more for myself. So I found a way to actually go and find it. But other women, they don't want to change. They want that life. I can't lie. Like, I've spoken to a lot of women, and they're like, feminism is great and everything, but like, it would be nice to be a housewife and just sit at home. Like, it's great and everything what women have done for us, but I just want to do nothing, and that's okay. And I think there was one thing that I read. It's like, a lot of women, UK businesses fail for women, and it's not as a cause to, like, business failure. It's not that women don't have the drive and they don't make the money. It's due to actual, like, personal reasons. So especially between the ages of 25 to 34, that's where they're like, okay, I need to go out there and start a family. Or
Do you mean like biological clock?
Yeah, so it's like, it happens to be then. So it's like, when women do want to do something, they can, but then that time also comes, and that sets back so many women. And a lot of women they stop their city goals time because they've either had a child or it's becoming that time.
That's facts. Big facts.
Yeah, so
I feel like. No, never mind.
Nah, speak.
No. I was gonna say, you say that fast because your uncle. I feel like,
Uncle?
yeah, I feel like you told me your uncle said something similar.
What?
No, let's not go into it.
You mean as in women only settle down
Yeah, when they get older, and then
when they
the
get
phases.
older, and then the phases, and then they really want to pattern up after that.
yeah. I know, like, for me, for example, I know, like, I've got so many friends that were just like doing up city girls, and then they only patterned up when they had a child. Like, they were like, I now need to create, I've got an actual physical child here, I need to pattern up for that child.
To me, it feels like people don't really have as much purpose, because it's like when you have a child or something, or maybe you lose someone, there's like all of a sudden like a burning desire where I have to fulfill.
People don't have a why, and I think that's the biggest problem with our generation. Like, how are you just getting up and just being like, yeah, we'll see how the day goes, and then just go to sleep at the
I'm
end
gonna
of the
smoke
day?
a mate today. Those are the people that get me. What? I'm gonna smoke a mate today. Like,
Yeah,
what?
first thing they get up.
Do you know what? I
I
just don't get it. Like, do you know, it's so crazy to me. Like, how do you, and I think I found, this is the biggest thing for me, yeah. So when I was working at Tesco, I used to get up at 6 to do my business. And then after, like, and then I'd start work at 9. And then be at Tesco all day, whatever. And then not sleep until 2 a.m. because I'm still working on my business. And then I realized, wait, why am I doing all of this for Mr. Tesco, making him rich? And something clicked in me. Why does that never click for anyone? Like, okay, you guys were even like, okay, like, it clicked for you.
It clicks.
That you just, and now you have a why, you have a reason to get up, you have a reason to be here on like a Sunday rather than in bed.
Facts.
And I think doing exactly what you said, people need a desire, because it's like the minute, see, like you just said, you do like a 9 to 5, then you work into.
Yeah.
A lot of people shut off after that. Like, yeah, that's me done.
Yeah,
nothing for themselves.
And they're like, I hate this so much. It's like, you hate it. Go figure it out.
People don't hate the 9 to 5 enough to actually go out and do their own thing, work on themselves, work on their business, so they can actually have that freedom. But
Yeah. And that's why, like, you know, when I recently mentioned, like, a lot of businesses fail in the first 6 months because people feel like they have an option B. And when you have an option B, you're never going to be hungry enough to go all in with your option A. Like, there's a author called Eckhart Tolle, and he was homeless, he was broke, if you guys haven't read Read a New Earth, and he has another one, but I've forgotten the name of it. He was homeless, he was broke, he was like completely like down bad, and he was at a point where he actually had nothing to lose. So he would go to the library and spend his day in the library reading every day, because where else are you gonna go? Like, and then from that, he developed his mindset so much that he's obviously gone to be this like crazy like person in the metaphysical like world. Like pretty much everyone in metaphysics knows him. And for him, it's like he only had one option. And it was like circumstances forced him to only have one option. So he went full blown with that option of like, let me develop myself. But other people, when they have that 9 to 5, they're like, okay, yeah, let me start a business on the side on the weekend. And if it doesn't make sales in the first 3 months, let me just quit and then go back to like working. At least I've got something to fall back on. And if you're never going to be hungry enough unless if you put yourself in very tough situations where you literally have to like go full blown in. Yeah.
Do or die.
Yeah.
So one of the things you mentioned, which is very important, it was obviously some people, I think for girls as well, they don't really collab as much to each other.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of things with girls, they stick around girls who are just like them, and they may have an idea where maybe I want to do business, but they can't find somebody who's on the same mindset, so they just drop back down to the same level and keep the same stuff. So what advice would you give to females who actually want to go in business and actually want to find girls who are doing similar things so they can stay in that same mindset and improve with others?
Yeah, so you need to actually be willing to adapt and you need to be willing to do the work. I think people expect things to just come to them. They just expect like, oh, I'm going to find a mentor that's just going to come to me magically because I've got this idea. Or you need to actually go out there and like shamelessly network. Like I've been going to networking events alone since I was like 18. I prefer going alone because I get all nervous when my friends are there. And then I don't know, like I don't want to network to my full extent, but I will shamelessly actually go and speak to anyone. And people aren't willing to do that. And some like, you need to learn individualism before you can even think, I need to now go do this for myself. And like people are everywhere. Like I was there and I think that's why I wanted to be like that person that people can just reach out to and just get help from, because it is hard when you don't know what you're doing. It is, yeah. But when you put yourself in certain mindset and certain environment, you will naturally manifest like the things that you require in your life. So if you've got a goal of, I need more female friends that are empowering, I need like a business that's going to be successful. If you have that in your mind and you're like, you know, down with it and you manifest it and you live through it, you're going to actually live through it in the real life. Like you're going to naturally fall back. Like I found I lost friends that just didn't align with my lifestyle anymore. Like we didn't relate with anything. We just couldn't talk about anything. And naturally, as I started posting things about like, you know, mindset, my life, growing my business, all of that, people that were like-minded naturally came over to me and we just found each other.
Would you say that's a teachability skill? Because to me, it sounds like, I think there's like this teachability thing where it's gonna, who do you listen to and who do you surround yourself with?
Yeah.
And basically saying everything you do, so it's like a small contribution. So everything you listen to, so let's say you're trying to improve this, but you're still listening to friends there.
Yeah.
It keeps you there.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing. You say go all in.
Yeah.
With the business, with the people, change everything.
You have to change. Like I was fortunate because it happened during lockdown. Like I didn't have any other option. Like, what? Yeah. So I read 40 books in the space of like
40?
Yeah, I literally have a top
In the
40
space
list.
of what?
In the space of like lockdown was 6
No,
months?
8. Yeah, 8. It was like 6 to 8 months. Like, you know, when the first lockdown was properly there.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
else were we gonna do? Like,
And then we
come
got put
on.
back in there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot. He's my bro, had me on lockdown, you know.
yeah. So,
Facts,
like, for
facts.
me, that's
No,
that's
still a
what I
ball.
was doing.
I said I was still kicking balls, so I'm still going outside. Yeah, we're still going outside.
And when you don't know anyone in your area, even when we're like rule of 6, I've just come back from uni after like a solid 3 years. I didn't know anyone in my area. Who am I going to rule of 6 with? Like, yeah. So it forced me to go hard. Like, and when we were allowed to like finally walk, I'd walk around. I've got like a lake outside my house, and I got so bored of this route, but I'd be listening to like audiobooks and just like listening and getting my exercise and doing the most. And it's like, you have to put yourself in that monk mode, that like tough situation. Like if you know your friends are bad for you and they're telling you let's go clubbing every single week, and then you're falling into it and saying, yeah, you don't want to change. You have to learn how to say no. You have to learn that individualism of regardless. I remember, you know, I mentioned I was in the Zimbabwean community when I was like 17, and I used to like go, I think those were the people, like I'd get fake IDs and go clubbing with them. And I said to myself when I turned 18, if I leave the Zim community right now and I come back in like a year and things have changed, okay, cool, I've missed out. And if like I leave and nothing's changed, then it's not for me. So I literally separated myself from that entire situation. It's now like 5 years on, and those same people I used to go out clubbing with at the age of 17 are still doing it every single weekend. And they haven't changed their situation at all. So you need to know like who's good for you and who's bad for you. Who can you actually see like in the long term? Like if you want to be that boss girl that's like doing up like boss girl holidays and you've got like, you know, high net worth friends and you surround yourself with that and do like really like, you know, high value things, you need to know like, okay, are these the people that are on that journey with me? You can take some friends on. I had a friend and we were really close and we did the journey together. We're not close now, but at least I had someone that I could like, if I read something, I'd be like, oh my God, did you read The Alchemist? Oh my God, it was so amazing. But you can also find a lot of that. There's so many places online. Go to Facebook groups. There's people like that just looking for friends that are on that same
You got me
wavelength.
thinking start a Facebook account today.
Yeah, do you know what? Everything's on Facebook.
I ain't got a Facebook account.
You don't have Facebook account?
I got Instagram.
I ain't got a Facebook account.
What the hell?
Where were you?
Have you got off the COV page?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, so I ain't got no Facebook
So
account.
he's been in-
No, I've got-
I ain't got no Facebook account.
Yeah, but it's like just anywhere. Like go to networking events. There's virtual ones. There's online ones. You can find like accountability partners. You can find anything. Just like go out there and actually look for it. And people don't look. That's like I think that's what annoys me the most.
Half-assed.
Yeah.
Yeah, half-assed. look.
Yeah, it's just like you will ask me a question, like especially on Snapchat. People will ask me a question that they can Google. Just go Google it. You ask me, where do I find networking events? Go Google networking events into Google and you will find them.
So I'm guessing you probably had friends who were also just probably the same mindset as you, who were like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and
Yeah,
never did it.
There's so many fallen soldiers. I
What do you
can't lie.
think? What,
so
what
many
do you think
fallen
of them?
soldiers.
Yeah. What do you think of them people who talk like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that?
It's just-
They start, put the foot in, and then it's like, yeah, then the actions aren't aligning.
This is why I mentioned you have to do the individualism, because if you're like on a race with someone and then they fall back, you can't then fall back with them and then like wait until they're ready to jump back. Even with gym, I find a lot of people be like, yeah, I go with my friend, but my friend's got injured, so I'm gonna wait for her to like get back. And it's like, why are you waiting? Like you've got to go, you're doing your life for yourself. God forbid if anything happens to your friend, are you just then gonna not exist anymore? Like you need to learn how to do things yourself. And you can't, like, you just need to use someone like as an aid, just like someone to just kind of push you in the right direction and just be there with you. But they're not your end all and be all. Like you still need to be able to do things yourself. When you go to sleep at night and you're reading your books, they're not right there with you, reading the book with you. So yeah.
That was what I said.
Facts. So after you left them fallen soldiers behind,
Yeah.
your business did well, is doing well.
Skyrockets. Skyrockets.
I'm still like everyone says that to me. I'm like, oh no, I'm not in Forbes the under 30 there. I'm not a billionaire yet.
you'll
So
get there.
I'm
On the
like,
way.
I'm
You'll
just
get there.
like,
You'll get
yeah,
there.
everyone's great, but until I make my first million, that's when I'll be like, yeah.
How would you scale?
I found it's just like the process of like repeat. Like I found a formula that works for me. I found like a whole team that worked for me. I have like employees. They work for me, but I meant like work for me in the sense that it works like for me. I'm not now gonna like reinvent the wheel and like completely change my entire business. It's just reapplying the same thing and doing it over and over and just reaching out to larger companies and getting more traction. That's the way I can scale and get more employees.
What point do you want to get the marketing business to? Because currently you're at
Yeah, so
what?
Are we allowed no?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
yeah, I actually want to sell my marketing agency when I think I don't know whether I want to get to that like 1 million mark just to be like I done it. Like I was that little
What do you mean, 1 million
16-year-old.
revenue?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
1 million revenue. I want to be like that. Just here's to my 16-year-old self for believing I could do it at one point, but I do want to sell it because it's no longer my passion. It's become my 9 to 5. It's become like the one thing I'm just working on it. And I think as someone that's had like I mentioned, like I went to so many different schools, like I've had like I've had different lives, like I've had like different businesses, I've done all of this. And this is like the one thing I've stuck to for so long. It's now just kind of, it balls me and I'm just like, what's next? Like, let's collect it. Like, so what I'm jumping into is AI concierge business, which is essentially like American Black American Express Black Card, where the 0.001% of the whole world get an invitation. And this is essentially making it more accessible to humans, but using your own behavior and AI to actually suggest different things for you. You want to do anything, and if you want to do anything, you can either ask it to arrange it for you, and it takes out the middleman who would essentially be a concierge.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's your ticket into
That's
Forbes.
my $1 billion.
That's your
offer,
Forbes.
yeah. And it's like one thing I think I have recently found this. A lot of people are stuck in that small business mentality, and they never ever want to. They'll never see themselves starting a startup. Like, and a lot of people are like, what's the difference between a startup and a small business? So a small business is essentially like, for my marketing agency, no matter how much I scale it up, it will never be a startup because I'm just consistently thinking scale. Probably I bootstrapped the whole thing. Like, I have never gotten any income from like anyone to start it. I haven't got any funding. Whereas like with a startup, you start a startup with an exit plan, with a plan to one day I'm going to sell this. It's going to be like a unicorn company. For those of you that don't know what unicorn company, it is a $1 billion valuation company. So you start it with that, and everyone knows everything you use today is someone's startup.
And you mentioned how they got there in the first place.
Yeah, so
yeah, you explain it.
Yeah.
You explain it better than I do.
So 57% of all UK business, so UK unicorns, so the $1 billion valuation companies went through an accelerator. And having an accelerator makes you, I think, 75% more valuable, and it brings in 44% more income for your business. So how it essentially works is it works in like 5 stages. So I'm still at my ideation stage where it's like still an idea, but I'm like starting to build my minimum valuable product, which is, you guys, you'll probably hear people saying MVP or whatever. So I'm at the point where I'm like still building it out. I'm like trying to find my co-founder. I'm trying to just get like that initial like stage going. So an ideation stage has 2 separate sections. You either have your seed funding. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of like people being like,
I've heard of seed funding.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, I'm looking for my seed funding. So you've got either 2 avenues. You either bootstrap it yourself, you completely make all the revenue yourself, or the funding yourself, or you like try and get funding for it. And this is where like seed round is when people tend to do like accelerators. So accelerators are companies like Y Combinator. You go to them and you say, I've got this idea. Here's my MVP, my minimum valuable product. This is what my pitch deck is, and I can see it making this impact on the world. And they give you like 250,000 to 500,000. They provide you with
In return for what?
So they take, some of them take like 6 to 7% of your company.
67%.
No, 6 to 7.
Oh, I thought you said 67. That's a 67%.
Yeah, no, 67. No. So
their
they want
company.
equity usually. So yeah, they want a section of your company in order to do this, and it's like the ones that they believe in. So people that have gone through like Y Combinator, for example, it's like Uber, DoorDash, Twitch, I think Facebook. Did you know Twitch was just a guy? It was called Justin TV, and it was just a guy called Justin that was just like recording his entire life.
On live stream.
Yeah, it was just like live streaming to his university campus.
They got the new one now. What's it called? Kick.
Yeah.
What is it? Better percentage to the creators.
Yeah, they're doing those to take over
nice.
Twitch. I think they're even offering like
middleman businesses just work, and like the AI one you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you really want to make money, you gotta be a middleman.
Yeah, because it's not like with the like. There's a lot of with startups. It's like it's less middleman, but more collaboration. Like you're gonna work with so many people. Like I mentioned, the reason why I'm going down this route is because I don't want to pay someone £80,000 to develop my app. You know, I don't want to, but I also know I can't do it alone. This is like one of them things, like when someone's starting a small business, they're just like, I can just like do this, get a middleman, they do this. But you're not building like a large scale startup from just being a middleman. It's at that point where you actually need employees. Like you actually need someone to come in with expertise in sales, with expertise in marketing, with expertise in like like you have your tech person and other things. So you all collaborate together and use each other's skills. And you may not get paid for like the first like couple years whilst it's like getting itself off the ground. But it's like it's less middleman usage and it's actually more internal resources
Okay.
to get yourself really off the ground. And I think it's just because the way the model is set up is with that thing of like, we have an exit plan of either going public or to sell the company. And with a middleman like business model, you can't really scale that far and go my current business is middleman business for the most part, but that's because I just hire people to do things. So
This new business you're starting up, do you want it to be more?
I want to be more involved.
As in more employees, as in actually
like,
have a team, build an office.
I want to be like with my Forbes 30 under 30 pitch. This is it. Are you ready, guys?
Yeah, go on. When you do, we'll play this game.
So when I win, which will be somewhere in the next 6 years for obvious reasons.
Big up.
It's gonna be I hire like 70 people that are all completely diverse. I want to have a company where I hire majority 80% women, just because of all the statistics and Forbes really look for impact like that. They look for things like that. Okay. And I want to bootstrap majority of my own company because that's impressive of how so I hired a company that bootstrapped like 750,000, and it's just like you haven't asked anyone for funding. You've just made that yourself. Yeah. So, I want to change lives. I want to eliminate all middlemen from life. No, not from life. Just from the concierge business. Because have you guys ever used
one person in the market for that?
Have you guys ever used a concierge?
Nah.
I would hire.
So, for anyone at home, including myself, concierging.
So a concierge is like essentially like a personal it's a personal assistant that you essentially. So if you go to like some 5-star hotels, like you'll find like in the lobby they'll have like a concierge. Yeah. You can ask that person like, oh, can you get me like deliver roses to my room every single day for like the next like year whilst I'm staying here, or get me a reservation to X, Y, and Z. And with the American Express Black Card one, it's like the richest people can request anything they want, and it's like almost things like impossible. So think like you want like a concert is completely sold out, and you literally want like VIP backstage tickets. Those are like the smaller things. I heard like some crazy stories where someone was like, they asked me to do a wedding for their dog and plan the whole wedding for their dog, and then they wanted me to read the like thing but like woof it out like the entire thing, and they were like, I'm not doing that. Some people have asked for like a dinner on an iceberg, like go and arrange a dinner on like a Titanic style iceberg for me, or like I want to go to the Himalayas, get a private jet ready for me, and like it needs to be these days. So
and you aim to solve these problems.
Yeah, without needing, because it's almost impossible to get this kind of stuff.
On the iceberg, that sounds mad.
Yeah, honestly. So what were you gonna say?
I heard one where some guy wanted sand from like literally across the world and to be delivered to his front door, literally just like a bucket of sand.
Yeah.
For what reason?
I don't know. He just wanted it. You know what I'm saying?
Is that just rich people thing?
Yeah, like when you got too much money, you can just you can have anything you want. And so like the smaller level of this is just like London Fashion Week, people struggle to get that. Paris Fashion Week, people struggle to get into that. So just like having it available, but I want it based on each individual person's like spending. So like if you spend a lot on like, I don't know, gaming and cameras and stuff, I'd find like events for you that are camera based and be like, these are the dates. So you don't actually need to go on Google to find it. You don't need to ask an actual concierge, can you go find this? You don't need those connections in the world, because people need connections in order to get these things for someone.
And is that what you're saying? You want to make it into an app so accessible for everyone to just...
Yeah. That's it. There's a lot more to it, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you reckon you have competition with Google in a way?
So my biggest competition is Velocity Black.
Velocity Black?
Yeah.
And what exactly do they do to a T?
So they have like a concierge. Yes, for them it's just like a concierge. That's like an app, but it's not AI. It's not based on each person's personal.
And obviously for AI with you will have a lot more information.
Yeah.
You're hard.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Make sure you file a pound for don't worry, this won't get released for a while. So
no, don't worry. And it is like there's different price points. Like if you want crazy things, you're gonna have to pay a monthly subscription crazy monthly subscription for the crazy
Oh,
stuff.
so how are you looking to monetize it through subscriptions?
I'm not going to talk about monetize it because that's all my pitch deck.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Fair.
Next thing you know, someone's created a whole pitch deck.
So
Sick idea.
you went traveling.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was the most amazing thing I've ever done.
JV
Like,
travels.
Yeah, that's yeah.
From JV finance to
Travels
JV
underscore.
travels.
So I didn't even mention the JV finance part, but I'll talk about that we'll talk about this first. Traveling was the most amazing thing. I think I've known for so long. It's been on my vision board since I was 16. Like I always said, like, you know, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna see the world. And then it went from just an idea of a dream to an actual reality. Obviously, like I mentioned, around the time my cousin passed away, I thought, let me just travel. And then after that, I did like 12 countries in 1 year when I was at uni, and my swimwear was like just funding that. And then like after uni, I kept telling my parents, like, I want to travel. Like, please let me travel. Like, please let me quit uni. I can't do it anymore. It's not in me to do this. And they were like, no, finish uni first. And then I finally finished uni. No one believed me. And I was like, I'm going to leave. Like, I'm going to pack my bags. And I met Kevin. And he's just like, amazing. Because he was on the same path. Like, he traveled all the countries I've been to as well. Like, so we really like just had that similarity of we want to both travel. Mm-hmm. So it's like I already had this plan to go traveling. And then I just met someone who just wanted to do it with me. And I was so scared. I was trembling to tell my parents. I was like, oh, I'm not married and I want to go with a boy. So I literally didn't tell them. Like, me and Kevin discussed it on our first date and I didn't tell them for like 10 months. Until like literally like 6 months before we left.
So on your first date, the goals are already aligned?
Yeah, that's
Sounds amazing.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Must be nice. It is.
That's it.
So I was trembling because my parents are African, you know? Like my dad is proper, like he was like really strict about my brother moving in with his girlfriend at the time. He was like, marry her and then move in with her. So I was like, imagine me, the daughter. Trying to say this. I was trembling. And then one day I finally just said it and he was like, okay. And I was like, what do you mean? I've been like scared to say this for ages. So yeah, they were like really supportive of it. And no one believed it. And I kept telling my mum, I've already booked my ticket. You better believe it. Like, babes, I'm going. You better believe it. It's booked. Take me to Heathrow.
Did they ask to meet Kevin before?
So no, they met him first. So I'd known for so long. I think I remember I eventually told them in April and I was leaving in September. But I'd had all the plans. I knew where we were going. I had a Trello board for both of us and like where we were doing our entire route, everything. And it was like just like a few days before buying my ticket. I was like, let me just tell them. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. It was the best. Like I was living like a king for under £1,000 a month in Thailand, in Bali.
Yeah, we saw that. The hotel was like what? How much was the hotel?
Yeah, that's
Like £8.
£8.
So it's just like the most picturesque place in the whole of like the most picturesque place in the whole of Bali is called Nusa Penida. It's like a separate island, blue waters, just unreal. And our hotel was it was £9. Literally £9 a night, and we stayed there for 3 nights for like £27. And we even done like other places. So it was so ideal for us because we spent £240 for our villa for a whole month, and we'll just leave our bags there and then go weekend trips because it was cheap enough that you could just
give it a go.
No
yeah.
way.
So
How much was the food?
our food is like really cheap. So in Thailand, you can have a good meal for about £4 in down south. But the further up north you get, like there's a little place called Pai, which is like the hippiest place on earth. For like 80p, you can get a good meal.
80p?
Yeah.
What the hell are you eating?
Good.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like, you know, Thai food, like, up for a debate, but Thai food is the best in the world. So, like, I'm talking like your pad thais, I'm talking your rice and like, yeah, like your Thai green curries, your masaman curries, like that kind of stuff, like proper food. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like with the Wi-Fi?
So Wi-Fi is actually incredibly amazing. People actually,
I thought it was going to be trash.
Yeah, people assume it's going to be really bad because it's just like other countries. But I can't lie, like for me, some parts of like Bangkok are far more advanced than London. So it's like it's not.
I heard they had all the fiber Wi-Fi installed.
Yeah,
way before.
way before.
Coerce, like 10 years before us, and we're still running on copper.
These countries are like near China.
I'll check it.
These countries are like near China, and like China is really like one of the most developed technologically countries in the entire world. So certain parts it's like, okay, I know it's going to be bad. In Asia, I can't lie, it was all around majoritively good, but we always had a backup. So if things were tough, we'd have a SIM card. Like if Wi-Fi is bad, I can hotspot myself at least. You prepare for these things as a digital nomad, But Africa was it was unpredictable, especially in Zimbabwe. That was unpredictable. I had to just take the whole 2 weeks off.
Kevin told me, he was like, yo, that Wi-Fi was trash.
So yeah, like my grandma, so like my family, they have like solar panels, and some places you go, they've got like backup generators. So you just kind of know. But when you go to like the absolute rural, so naturally, I don't know about other cultures, but like with our cultures, grandmas tend to live like in the actual rural areas. And that's what, like where you're from is where your grandparents live, and we call it like commercial, which is like the rural parts. That's where they're going to be. And I just knew visiting them, there's just no network. And I remember I had a meeting, and I thought I could at least hotspot myself, and I thought I could just jump on. But we were in as rural, and I remember going to like a rock and trying to like literally do this, like trying to reach up to find signals like that bad, and I didn't get it. And the meeting just happened, and the people were waiting for me, and there's just nothing I could do until we got back to like the towns. But yeah. And they have like load shedding. For anyone that doesn't know what load shedding is, they just like cut off electricity to like retain the resources and make sure everyone gets enough in the long run. So they just cut it off unpredictable, like pretty much every day.
So with that said, traveling the world, I'm guessing you've seen some amazing things, amazing scenes, visit amazing countries and cities. What's some of the worst things you've seen? Because I could imagine some places probably caught you by shock.
So when I first started like planning my Thailand trip, I was just like, we did 10 locations in 30 days, and it was hectic as hell. But and I was just planning around it, and I was like, where should we go? And everyone was just like, go Phuket. But then Kevin like researched into it, and he was like, don't go Phuket. Like everyone was like, don't go. Like, his people were telling him don't go, my people were telling me go. And I'm like, it must be good if everyone's going there. Like, there must be a reason everyone is there. And like, we didn't end up doing it the first time round. And it was like, for me, it was like, okay, I saw the most beautiful parts of like Thailand. And then the second time round, we ended up going after my birthday because we were around there with PP Islands and stuff. And it's just like, it's so shocking what happens there. Like, there is these things known as like sex shows where like, people, don't want to get too graphic, but like ping pong shows, Google them, I'm not going to tell you what they are. And like some of them are like people that have been trafficked, and like children from like a young age have been trafficked to do some of these shows. There's just like a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like, okay, this is kind of immoral. You see like animals being used for like really bad things. Like this is one thing we saw a lot, especially in like Sri Lanka, where like a elephant's back is collapsing because people ride it all the time. Like it's so bad. So just like little things like that where animals are being mistreated and just being used as props, like to help tourism. And the weather in Bali is so bad. I've just got to say that.
Is it?
Yeah,
Really?
They've got rain season, but we went in non-rain season.
And it was still raining.
Yeah, and it's one of them things that's like Instagram versus reality. And for me, I wouldn't go back just because it was like really, really like bad. And it's not bad because like a really poor country or anything. It's bad because tourists have like ruined it. Like you go to a beach and you can't even walk and see sand because it's just like litter everywhere. There's like really, I don't know.
I think you posted a video about it.
Yeah, I did like an Instagram versus reality, and it's literally like slums right outside. But and it's not because of the people there. They're the nicest people in the world that I've met. It's because tourists actually ruined that country.
I want to ask you, so if I want to be a digital nomad, how much would I need to make?
So it depends. So it depends what your quality of life is and like what you do. Like tell me, like if you go on holiday, what do you do?
I just want a nice place to stay, eat out pretty much every day. I'm rarely gonna cook.
It's actually cheaper to eat out every day than it is to cook.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where I want to be.
All inclusive.
Facts. Eat out every day, drink a bit,
Activities.
maybe attend a few activities after I've done a bit of work.
Beach clubs or like little
Yeah.
bars. What's your vibe?
A bit of both.
Bit of
Mix and
both.
match throughout
Yeah.
the week. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so with me as an example, I spent £1,200 in Bali in the first month, and this was from literally doing activities non-stop. Like I think our whole thing is activity.
Oh, so you were just banging out activities
Yeah.
and still only spent 1.2.
Yeah, so that's we were like staying in obviously our villa and then spending like maybe £27 to £40 on the weekends for our accommodation. Travel, we had a moped the entire time, and it was like £3 to fill.
Do you
the
need a
fuel.
license for that?
Well, if you've already got a car license, you can use it. You just go to the post
Oh.
office and get an international
Okay, that's
license,
sick,
which is a
sick.
FIFA. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And then we'd like go to like beaches. We go to the picturesque places. Went to like Monkey Forest and Uber. That's like £10 to enter. Have you guys seen the little selfie I took of the monkey? The monkey took the selfie for me. Yeah, like things
The
like
monkey took the selfie.
Yeah, the monkey took the selfie. They
I
trained the
love
monkeys to take
How you know you're gonna
selfies.
finesse his phone?
That's what Kevin was saying, yeah. But now I'm like, that's like a whole scam. So they like have the phone here and they're like giving the monkey food like from here. So the monkey grabs the food. So it looks like the monkey's holding the camera. But it's just grabbing the food in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to post the actual because I took a live photo for that. So you can see the monkey grabbing it. Yeah. Yeah, so with doing like loads of activities, we done so much. We even ended up buying a drone because we're just doing so much. Yeah, it was 1,200 and eating out every day.
So if I was boring and just stayed home, ate, probably went for walks.
About 600 a month.
Month.
Yeah.
Bro,
And this is like-
suffering in the UK.
Like, yo, when I say this is ghetto, I mean y'all are suffering. Like, and it's because like we were obviously staying in villas. Like we're actually staying.
Is that
in, like,
including the
nicer-
rent for the villas and all of that?
Yeah, so that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Like we are actually staying in villas, and it's that much. But if you were just saying, so again,
What about like buying clothes out there?
it's so cheap. Like I took a suitcase and I was just like, how the hell have I put my whole life in a suitcase when I literally take like on holiday, I take like 3 outfits a day. I take like a 23 kg suitcase for like just a 4-day trip. Do you get what I mean? So for me to live from a 23 kg suitcase for a whole 10 months was just so hard. But they've got the same shops they have here. Like you want H&M? Go.
Oh,
You've
so they got
Uniqlo.
H&M.
Yeah,
They got
H&M.
Uniqlo as well.
They've got
Yeah,
everything.
good.
Like, yeah.
Uniqlo. It's basically like, I don't know, you can just get cheap
Yeah.
t-shirts and all of that.
So everything like the shopping. One thing that Bangkok loves, one thing that Thai people love, is a good shopping center. I'm convinced it's like 30 shopping centers in like So regardless of where you are, I will just like throw away some clothes or like give them away to the homeless people, and then just like buy more and just keep going everywhere in the world.
So now to thank you, JB, for coming on. Now to the part of the personal questions. You first.
So my personal question is, what's 7 things that you can't live without?
Family first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a heavy one because I actually I realized I needed them more than I thought I needed them because I FaceTime them every single day, which is why for me it was like, I don't really miss my family because I FaceTime them every single day. My phone, because regardless of where I was in the world, I made money from it. Like, and I'll say phone and laptop is like one thing
okay.
because regardless of where I am in the world, I could be at an airport with a plane delay. I'm still making money from both.
Jeez.
Just waiting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The other thing is my mindset and my drive. Like I feel I could put myself in a different body, but it's just, I don't think I would have the same life experiences or go as far as I want to go or do anything that I'm doing right now without my mindset and drive. You can't buy that. That's something that you just need. Like it's built in you, you know, and you need to, or you build it into yourself, you instill it into yourself. How many am I on? 3?
You're on 3. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say laptop is a separate one. Just
She's the only person that's kind of gone, oh, I'll put that into 1.
And life experiences, even through like, obviously I was saying like, you know, I grew up and I had identity crisis. I went through all of that. There were times in my life where I felt like this is the worst thing that's happening to me. Like I've moved schools and I'm like the new kid, like consistently. And I'm just like, this is so bad. Or like little racist remarks, like I was mentioning. It's just like, this is so bad. But it's like, I would never change it for the world. I'd never trade it for the world because it built me into and shaped me into who I am today. I need 2 more. Oh my God.
You need 3 more.
Nah, 2 more.
I
She added the.
bundled.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My Kevin for definite.
Big up.
Okay.
Yeah,
shout
no,
out, okay.
100%. Because I think I went from being just just being an entrepreneur, figuring it out, just being like, yeah, this is like I knew finance before, so yeah, I did personal finance a lot, and that's what people know me on Snapchat for because I used to like literally post my
That's
entire
why you
personal
JV
finance.
finance.
Yeah, my entire personal finance journey. I was just posting it when I was making the profits for my businesses. So
I guess that probably helps with Kev as well. Did Kev help with finance as well?
So I would like to say yes, because the like for like the heavier investments that I just didn't know existed, he's like put me on, and like I've grown as a person. But like just smaller things that he does, like the actual personal finance, like credit scores and that. Like I remember I grew my credit score from like 700 to 938. It's like it grew by like 200 in a month just from like little things that I'd done. So that's
You
like
can do
the
that in a
heavy-
month.
Yeah, technically no, but yes. So I'd done things all at once in a year, but then it all pushed together.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I'd done it over
Yeah,
a year, but then it all happened over 1 month. And
Last one.
so, oh my god. What was the original question? What was things like
7 things you can't live without.
I would say genuinely Netflix. Like I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a Netflix lover like
What
that.
have you been watching?
it's gotten so bad. I've watched everything.
Everything, even like the new season of Black Mirror.
I watched it. Like the day it comes out, but the thing is, it just keeps me saying. Like I used to read like a lot of audio books, but you can only read so many. Like I said, I read 40 in one.
I don't know how you done that.
7. It's like a combination of reading an audio book and then going back and reading it because like you've missed something because they're speaking too fast. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, to a point where it's like, okay, you can only know so much, but sometimes I just can't work in silence.
What's the last show you watched?
I've just started Gossip Girl right now, but the last, and it's really good. I highly recommend it. I've gotten bullied my whole life to watch it. Now I'm finally like, I'm watching it. It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah.
You know, you need to jump on Apple TV. They're actually releasing some bangers.
Oh, really?
Like Severance and Silo. There's some 2 good shows.
Yeah.
I'd recommend.
What's your favorite show?
Oh, wow. That's a heavy question now. That is like, I'm sure I've got like some, I'm just like, I can't live without show.
We appreciate you guys so much for making it to the end of the video. We really do. And looking at our analytics, over 80% of you guys are subscribed.
So if you could do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. It does a lot more than you know.
Thank you for making it to the end of the episode. And make sure you go and check out the newest episode coming out Monday.
I've seen everything. That's what makes it so hard.
I thought it would be easier.
But you know, I'll tell you my favorite genre of shows. Yeah, I love South African shows. I love them with a passion, and I love like Korean shows, but not like the love ones because they're too passionate with their love. And it's just like shut up now. But like you know, like they go hard. They're just like you know, some kid will be getting bullied in school. Yeah, and the average like British show, whatever, or like American show, they'll just get like maybe slapped or like pushed or something. Yeah. In a Korean show, they'll just like bring out a knife and like back them in a corner. Like they go too hard.
Are you talking about like a show called Gossip?
No, so it's called My Name.
Okay,
I
so
highly
I
recommend
heard
it.
of some show called Gossip where like it's just like that.
Yeah, no,
Where, like,
that's what
the
they
burner
do.
with a curler iron
Yeah.
every single day.
Like I tell you now, Koreans go
some
hard.
bullying show. I literally seen it on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I recommend My Name, by the way. Like it's so good. It's Korean and it's on Netflix.
What's your favorite show, Kai?
My favorite show.
Yeah.
I'm an anime boy still.
I can tell.
Yeah.
What anime is that? Is that no?
I can't believe you said that. No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You watch anime?
Oh my God, I used to be such a little heavy anime. Like, I kept this so secret. When I was like 16, yeah, I had an anime group chat on WhatsApp. And no, so like me and so I just met like a load of guys because all my friends have always been guys because I just don't like females. They're just like, I've told you about all my little situations recently. I was just like, I can do without this. And they were just so into anime. And I was like, okay, I need some suggestions. And then I would hear it from one guy or another guy. And I was like, okay, let me just put you all in one place and then you can all discuss like anime at once. And then we had like this one movie night, which was just an anime like night. But my favorite anime of all time, Death Note. And I know that makes me basic. That makes me basic.
You watch Demon Slayer?
I've seen a little bit, but it's nothing too memorable for me.
What?
Yeah.
Attack on Titans?
That
was I was offended.
I think
they literally got the best animation.
Really?
Literally got the best animation out of every single anime.
The one thing, when I first like met you, heard of you, like and I didn't know how to pronounce your name, and I used to call you Ajene.
That's different.
Because there's a whole it's because there's an anime show called Agent on Netflix.
Oh, so that
I highly recommend it. Add it to your list right now.
I've watched all of them Netflix, like Baki, Anima, Vinland Saga.
But yeah, the only reason I would say definitely is because I've watched it more than 3 times.
All right, so my final question to you is, I want to know if you've heard of an OnlyFans agency. Mm-hmm. So how would you market a female on there?
So you can't. I can answer this because I actually wanted to start.
I'm actually in the process of starting.
Nice. So when like OnlyFans was going to close or they were going to stop monetizing it, I think this was like September 2021. There was like a whole thing like they were going to shut down or whatever. I was like, oh, there's a gap in the market now. Like, there's a little gap in the market. And I literally went as far as like trying to like build an app. Like it was, So how I would have marketed it, because you can't use certain keywords and you can't do certain things. Like my swimwear brand.
So obviously you have to do like the not for safe work and all that stuff as well for Instagram and that.
My Instagram used to get closed a lot because my ads used to get cancelled a lot because of swimwear. And like swimwear is like, come on, that's as vanilla as it gets. Like, come on. You just can't say, so you can't show too much, but you can insinuate things.
What can't you show?
What? I mean, like, it's like not safe for work. So it's like, like on Instagram, you see like girls in bras and everything. Mm-hmm. I think that's okay. But like anything that looks a bit wild.
Yeah, you can't have like little emojis over like bits.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise your account's getting taken out. But like Twitter, you can go to
on Twitter. Like, I'd just be scrolling on Twitter and I'm just like, I didn't need to see this. Facts. And it's just like, I'll be like in public.
You better hold the new Instagram threads don't get like that. Because that's gonna happen soon.
My first day on Threads, I was scrolling. I
seen that?
I saw something 18 plus. That's what I'm gonna say.
And you didn't
very 18 plus. I said, this ain't Twitter.
You didn't activate like the cause you have to like a safety check to see like certain stuff you want to see, like
no, it was just open.
Someone kept their
bro.
safety checks open.
I didn't know that was an
That says a lot. That says a lot.
Yeah, these guys.
That says a lot. Yeah, so how would you market a female?
So I would have a heavy insinuation. Nothing sells more than sex in this world. Nothing at all. Like even little like a female's like dressed in like a certain outfit and they're just like, in a little telephone booth like download this app for a little call with me. Like just those kinds of insinuative things.
And then you want to funnel them down into obviously the OnlyFans.
Yeah, there's you should look up this. One of my friends from school, she was so meaty, bless her. She was like no, hear me. No, but now she's
watched this.
She was like, now she's an OnlyFans model. She's had surgeries and she's hot as hell. Like she is like, whoa.
Okay, now I understand the need.
Like you would never, them kids in school that are just like a bit, and you just never expect them to end up like that. Yeah. And she's part of an agency that's like an OnlyFans agency, and they do like little things like brunches as well to attract other women to come in.
See, yeah, because I was also thinking like to grow, like you really want to get hands on with the models and actually take care of them to get their friend in.
Do you want to be a pimp or do you want to be an agency?
I know when it hits like, I want to get real hands on.
Nah, but what I'm saying is you build that relationship with the models and you say, your friend, she's nice. You want to try to get in?
Do you know what? I'll find the name of it.
Like the guy who was on Cancer Culture podcast.
Oh yeah.
DC, I checked this over. He does dinner dates with the girls. But that's what I'm saying. He keeps that good rapport with the girls.
Like with this, I think every Sunday they like have a brunch, and it's like a proper like, you know, one thing girls love is a brunch, and they'll invite like other like prospects, and then girls can see, and they do like where it's like, you know, it's everything is branded at these brunches where girls take pictures of like everything, and then you actually go and click on the website because you're wondering what's this girl's brunch, and then you actually see it's like a full blown like
Because it's not always like you can do OnlyFans, and not all girls are like doing that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously
Especially
some of them
like
are just-
cam girl agencies.
Yeah.
Cam girl agencies are heavy. Like
Yeah, because I was thinking about still I'm considering starting one of them, but
100% go for it. There's so much money. This girl I'm talking about.
I wouldn't do the pimping stuff though. Just do like pimping
There is actually a book, but I'm not going to talk about it right now.
off camera.
Yeah, this is an off camera thing because people will be like, "What the fuck."
How do you know that book? How do you know that book?
I've got too many guy friends. It's just stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What are they getting up to?
Like I grew up meaty. Like let me get that fact. Like straight up. I grew up meaty. So I've been bro. Like I've just like, you know, where guys just feel so comfortable to tell me everything that they're doing. And I think that's what made me wisen up and have more masculinity rather than femininity, because my guy friends just they say the most, and I'll just be there like, "Hi, I'm one of the girls, by the way. I'm not Amanda." Yeah. So I know a few things about pimping.
All right.
Okay, you know what? Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap this up and talk off camera. 'Cause I know a few things about pimping. Now, Valery.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you very much, Valery. Thank you.
No, it's actually been my pleasure. I'm really looked forward to this, and I enjoyed it as well.
I enjoyed it as well.
Big one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.